Hello, everyone. Hello, good afternoon. Good morning. Good evening. I'm Freodore, designer of NIJISANJI EN's 11th unit by the beat. やっほーおはようございます。NIJISANJI EN 所属 by the beat のビジュアルセンスがこだわりのデザイナー、フリオドルです。Hello, everyone. It's been a bit, right? Because last week we didn't do a coffee Zatsu, so it's been some small amount of time since we last did a coffee Zatsu. そうですね。だって先週コフィーZatsuしてなかったから、ちょっと久しぶりですね。You know, hope everyone's been having a nice weekend or had a nice weekend so far. みんながいい週末過ごしたらよかったですね。So, for today's coffee recipe, the recipe that we're gonna be brewing today, the coffee that we're gonna be brewing today, it's actually gonna be the final dose of this coffee that I own. I didn't introduce it on stream, but it's a coffee that I've been drinking pretty often since I got it. So, how about we go ahead and introduce both the recipe and the beans? じゃあ、そうですね、今日入れる豆が、よく飲んでる豆だけど、今回は多分ラストかな？そろそろ終わるから。ちょっと悲しいけど、とりあえず、レシピ紹介しましょうか。Alright, so this is going to be the recipe and the equipment that we're going to be using today. We are going to be using the Hario switch. We are not combining it with the UFO dripper. We're using just the regular Hario switch. 今回は普通の Hario switch 使いますね。UFO ドリッパーと全然混ぜてなくて、普通のグラス Hario switch 使います。As for the recipe, we're going to be using a cupping style beginner friendly simple recipe made by Simon Gotherin. Excuse me if I mispronounce the name. Mr. Simon Gothering is the Australia Brewers the Australia Brewers champion, as well as the second place runner-up in the World Brewers Championship of this year. And he has this philosophy of going for simple recipes. He likes brewing really coarse. And even though he did not use this recipe for the World Championships, I believe he uses a hybrid recipe with the Pulsar brewer. He has this recipe available for anyone that wants to get into coffee and has a Hario switch. It's a very easy recipe. It's probably one of the easiest ones we have done so far. And it's a recipe that doesn't require us to have a gooseneck kettle. So if you have a Hario switch, you're basically good to go. そうですね、今回は、サイモン・ガザリンさんのカッピングスタイル、初心者に、入りやすい、レシピで入れてみますね。サイモン・ガザリンさんが、世界大会の2番の参加者だったね。そして、オーストラリアのチャンピオンだ。彼が、大会でこのレシピ使ってなかったけど、このレシピは初心者に簡単なレシピだから、多分、面白いと思ったね。そして、カッピングスタイルだから、あれも気になった。So, when it comes to the recipe called cupping style, it's basically inspired by how coffee producers taste their coffee whenever they're trying to decide what notes they have in order to convey them in the packaging or when getting to sell them, right? So usually when farmers, or when people are tasting multiple amounts of coffee, they don't actually brew it through a filter. They don't use something like a B60. They don't use a French press or anything like that. They actually have cups where they will combine equal amounts of coffee grounds and water. They will let it steep for a few minutes, and then they will just stir the grounds that are on the top to get them away. And they will slurp and quickly taste the aromas and the taste with a spoon. And that's what it's called cupping. That is how most people, or like most producers, try to taste the coffee they're producing, because that way they get like a little bit more of a consistent and repeatable way of testing their coffee, you know? そうですね、今回はカッピングスタイルのレシピって言いますね。 カッピングが多分コーヒーのなんていうのプロデューサーコーヒー作ってる人コーヒー飲ませてる人結構なんか安定な方法があるためじゃあカップに同量のコーヒーの粉とお湯を注いでちょっとなんか紳士のプロセスを待ってなんか数分ぐらいに後でスプーンでなんか勢いよくなんかすりますね。そうやってなんかちゃんと豆の味わいとか香りとかを分かりますね。だってなんかドリッパーとかフレンチプレスとか使うなら多分なんか注ぎ方によって味が変わるから普通にみんながこのカッピング方法を使ってますね。そしてこのレシピは長い首のケトルドリップケトルいらないからスイッチ戻ったら本当に初心者にいいよね。But yeah, basically this recipe is going to be imitating that copying style by doing a full immersion method. We're going to be explaining this a little bit further on the recipe. But how about we go ahead and explain, of course the filter I'm going to be using the Kofik T90. This is the filter that I use usually for my V60 style drippers. But now, as for the beans, we're going to be brewing the Sisterhood of Huila beans from Mira Coffee Roasters. The Sisterhood of Huila is an organization or a cooperative organized in Huila, Colombia, in order to support young female coffee producers. And this particular blend of beans is the result of this cooperative. So it's basically a bean produced by coffee producer ladies, which I thought it was pretty cool. I've been drinking it. It's very tasty. I've never drunk it with this method though. It is fruity, but it has a nice bitterness to it, which kind of surprised me. I expected a very fruity, very floral coffee, but it's also very juicy and it has a nice bitterness to it. そうそうね、今回は入れる豆がSisterhood of Huila のなんか Mira Coffee Roasters の Sisterhood of Huila の豆を入れますね。Sisterhood of Huila がなんか女の子のコーヒープロデューサーを応援するための共同組合ですね。そしてこの豆が共同組合の努力の結果ですね。ちょっと気になったから最近なんか普通のドリッパーでよく飲んでるけどこの方法で飲んだことないね。普通になんかジューシーとフルーティーな感じあるけどなんかいい苦味もある。だからいい豆だ。As for the origin, yeah, this is a Colombian bean, and this is a blend of 3 different types of beans. It's the Castillo, Caturra, and Colombia variety of beans. If you guys weren't familiar, I actually was not familiar until I tried this bean, that there's a Colombian variety of beans that is actually just called Colombia. そうですね、このコーヒーの品種はコロンビア、そして種類がカスティーヨ、カトラとコロンビア種類のブレンドですね。This process is called, this is a wash process coffee, and it has notes of gooseberry, rosemary, and wild blueberry. そして、このコーヒーのプロセスが washed、そして味わいはグースベリー、ロースマリー、そしてワイルドブルーベリーですね。It is an ultralight roast, so I'm expecting a lot of florals, a lot of, I don't know, I feel like for this recipe, I'm expecting a little bit more body than what I normally would brew. But we'll give it a try. We're going to be using 15 grams of beans as always, and we're going to be doing 225 grams of water at 90 degrees Celsius. So this is going to be a 1:15 ratio. It's going to be a little bit more concentrated than what I usually do. But lately, depending on some ultralights, I really like the 1:15 ratio because sometimes, depending on the technique, depending on the grind size, going to 1:16 or 1:17 can be a little bit too watery, a little bit too weak. So this is a very good safe to start. If you guys are starting to brew coffee, I really do recommend starting with a 1:15 ratio. そして、今日はいつも通りの 15g 測りますね、豆が。 お湯が 225g 使います。90度でですね。今回の割合は1と15ですね。僕は普通になんか116と116.7ぐらいで入れてるけど、最近なんかウルトラライトで多分、ちょっと味わいがちょっと弱くなるから、まあ、引き目によってね。だから、初心者に、この割合、1と15を結構おすすめですね。バランスがあるの方が簡単だ。なんかバランスあるの入りやすい方法ですね。As for the grind size here, we're going to be going very coarse here. So this is another thing that it makes this very easy on beginners because even if you have a lower tiered or like a more economic style of grinder, it's a little bit safer to go coarser than going finer. So we're going to be going pretty coarse. I'm going 60 clicks on the easy price of CP6. This is an estimate around like 30 clicks on the Comandante. So since we're going to be doing immersion, we can go ahead and do very coarse grounds. And that makes it so that it's going to be very easy to get like a lot of clarity, a lot of the aromas out without getting a lot of bitterness. And it's gonna be easier to achieve these results with any type of grinder. そうですね、今回は、引き目、結構なんか粗挽きで引きますね。なんか Easy Press CP6 で、60クリック。多分コマンダンテならなんか30クリックぐらいですね。だから、これは初心者にいい。だって、まあ、ミルによって、コーヒーグラインダーによって、粗挽きで引くの方が、なんか安静じゃなくて、なんか苦味とコーヒーの粉の安定で入れるから、だからみんなが多分このレシピで、この引き目で美味しく入れますね。Now, as for the recipe, we're going to be starting out with the switch closed. And compared to various Hario switch recipes that start with pouring water over the coffee, we're actually going to be pouring the water first. We're going to be pouring the hot water first. And then afterwards, we're going to be pouring the coffee grounds onto the hot water. We kind of did something like this on the Gongfu cha style inspired recipe with the Hario switch. But yeah, we're gonna be doing this again. The reason for this is that since we're gonna be doing a full immersion, we're gonna be pouring all the water in one go. We don't want the filter to clog, and we don't want it to be a super slow drain, because otherwise it's gonna take forever to drain down. So we're gonna be pouring the water first. We're gonna be pouring the coffee later, and then we're gonna be gently stirring it with a spoon. So you do need a spoon for this recipe. Afterwards, at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, we're going to be gently stirring once again. And then at 4 minutes, we're going to be opening the bulb on the Hario switch and then drain. So it's basically just, we're going to be pouring the water, stir a little bit, wait for 4 minutes, and then we open the switch. We're going to be starting out with the switch closed, okay? And that's it. Super easy, right? このレシピは本当に簡単だ。まず、スイッチを閉じた状態で、お湯を225を注ぎますね。225まで。まあ、これは全部のお湯ですね。でも、コーヒーの粉じゃなくて、まず、お湯を注ぎます。だって、コーヒーの粉の上に、全部のお湯を注いだら多分、流すのは多分遅くなるから、この方法の方が優しいですね。あとで、3分50秒で改めて優しく攪拌して、4分でスイッチを開け、あとで完成しました。 本当に簡単ですね。Super easy, super easy. So, how about we go ahead and start brewing? Let's see how it goes. じゃあ、コーヒー入れましょうか。Gonna be let's see. There you go. I have changed the settings on my microphone, so I believe that is wrong. I believe the surroundings of my room are a little bit more audible. 部屋の周りはもっと聞こえるようになったね。マイクの設定変わったから。So, we're gonna start with the saddest part of today. We're gonna be weighing the beans and then it's gonna be over. これは多分今日の一番悲しいのステップですね。残ってる豆を測ります。Which I mean, I don't have to be that sad because I'm gonna be honest, I have 8 bags of coffee waiting to arrive and I actually already received around 3 of them, but I am resting them so that I can actually brew them properly. But still, you know. けどそうですね、今、悲しいけど、今は、コーヒーを8個袋を待ってますから、楽しみできるものがあるから。あれは嬉しいよね。でも、焙煎からいろいろ時間を、待ちないといけないから、とりあえず待ってるよね。So, we're gonna be weighing 15 grams. じゃあ15グラムまで測ります。The worst part is when like you're pouring the rest of your beans, but then it's like you have like 2 grams left over, and then it's like, what do I do with that? I'm gonna brew up 2-gram dose of coffee. There you go. For example, yeah, I have 15 grams here, but I still probably have like a good 3 grams left. So it's kind of like, what do I do with this? I also have like another 3 grams or 5 grams left from the honey beans from shoebox roasters. So I don't know, maybe I'll blend all the leftovers into one monstrosity of a coffee cup. そうですね、これは多分ちょっとどうするのわからんね。だってコーヒーをなんか残ってるコーヒーはなんか3グラムしか残らないときにどうするか。じゃあ多分後で残ってる豆を全部混ぜてちょっと化け物入れますから。フランケンスタインコーヒーか。It's like a Frankenstein coffee. The Russian roulette of coffee. So we're gonna be doing 60 clicks. So it's gonna be pretty coarse. 結構粗挽きでいきますよね。EC Presso CP6 に60クリック。Yeah, the gacha blend. That would be interesting, you know, like maybe a very cheap blend that is just whatever is left over. It might be good, but it might be really bad also. あれはどうかなってね、結構安いブレンドだけど本当にガチャだから多分美味しくないかもしれないもあるよね。なんか可能性もあるよ。Alright, so we're gonna be grinding, okay? じゃあ引きます。I should heat up the water. There you go. Experiencing a blend you'll never be able to recreate again. Yeah, I mean, if it's a gacha and it's an SSR, it's kind of like a one-of-a-kind SSR because you'll never be able to do it again. そうだね、ガチャなら SSR なら多分もう唯一無二、もう二度と入れないから本当に SSR ですね。ほんまの SSR だ。Alright, I'm gonna grab the switch here Wait. Oh my god, I gotta be careful with the fan not blowing away my filter. はい、ちょっと待って。I'm gonna adjust my microphone so it doesn't get in the way. よし。We're gonna start out by rinsing the dripper. It's not super necessary, but it's good for consistency. So we're gonna open the switch, and then we're gonna pour water over the filter. じゃあ、フィルターを洗いますね。これは、まあ、しなくてもいいけど、今回は、スイッチがガラスだから、少しだけ、なんか、温めてもいいよね。そしてこうやってなんか、注ぐのももっと安定になるよ。Yeah, something also that's good, worth taking into consideration is that the switch, at least the switch I am using, is glass instead of plastic, so it's a good way of slightly reheating the dripper. But I mean, I usually just rinse the filters for consistency dripping than more than anything else. Just you hear the water heating up. 温めてるお湯聞こえますね。Alright, so now we're gonna have to wait because we don't want to pour the coffee grounds in one go. But meanwhile, the water heats up, we can check out the grinds. じゃあお湯を温めるたびにちょっとコーヒーのコーナーの匂いがどうかな。コーヒーのコーナー。I don't think I've ever grinded these beans this coarse, but it's pretty nice. Very fruity. 結構なんかフルーティーですね。この粗挽きで初めてこんなに粗くで初めてだから。Also, because this recipe involves us waiting for 4 minutes, this is longer than my usual recipes. My usual recipes will go around 1.5 to 2 minutes. So it is gonna be expected that the water does cool down, but it's gonna be at a nice drinking temperature. So there's no need to worry about anything like that. そうですね。まあやっぱり4分を待つの方法だから多分お湯は少しだけなんか冷めるけどそれは普通だ。結果は結構よくなんか飲めるの温度だから全然心配しなくていいよね。Alright, so we have the water ready. じゃあお湯が準備だから we're gonna close the switch. And then we're gonna pour the 225 grams of water. じゃあ、スイッチを閉じて225まで注ぎます。This is why you don't need a gooseneck kettle because you're pouring the water first. 最初、お湯を注いでるから、There you go, perfect. 225.1. There you go. 長い首ドリップケトルいらないですね。Alright, so now we're gonna be pouring the coffee grounds on top of the water. We're gonna be putting them on top of the water. じゃあ、コーヒーの粉をお湯につけて and we're gonna gently stir with the spoon, and afterwards we start the timer. じゃあ、優しく攪拌してタイマーを始まります。Just gently. You can go in circles and then back and forth. There you go. Now we just wait for 4 minutes. I forgot the stopwatch. Okay, stopwatch. There you go. So we are 25 seconds ahead, so I'm gonna take that into account, but I mean, we don't really need to do anything super complicated, just wait for 4 minutes. So yeah. While this is a very easy recipe, I think it might not be as friendly to people that want their coffee now. I think if you're like in the morning and then maybe you're doing breakfast or preparing something else while you're brewing the coffee, then this is perfect because you can let it steep while you do other stuff. Maybe like washing the dishes or something also. But if you're just staring at the coffee waiting for it to be brewed, maybe it's easier to get a little bit impatient. But regardless of the time, the process itself is super easy. I always get open and close backwards for the switch. This is why also rinsing the filter can help, right? Because then you can confirm whether you had it closed or not. It can serve as like a pre-test before. Or if you have someone to do it for you. That is true. I think like if someone's not as experienced brewing, but it's like, hey, can you make me some coffee? Then this could be a recipe that you could teach them and it would be very foolproof, right? 確かにね、誰か、ちょっとなんかコーヒーを、入れてくれるとか、このレシピを教えたら多分、相手が美味しくコーヒーも入れますね。経験がなかったら。I'm personally not as big of a fan of like immersion brewing because I feel like it loses a little bit of the florals, a little bit of the clarity for a little bit more body. But I think since we're grinding pretty coarse and also we are still using the switch. So that means that even if we're doing immersion, the coffee is still going through a filter. So there is still going to be, there's not going to be any like bits of grounds that sometimes you can get from a French press. I think French press is probably one of the least, one of the methods I prefer the least nowadays. But using the switch like this is not bad at all. そうですね、まあやっぱりこれは結構紳士メインの方法だけど、まだペーパーフィルター使ってるから。フレンチプレスみたいになんかボディがまだクリーンになるよね。正直、まあフレンチプレスがあんまり好きじゃないのよね、現在。結構デリケートな一杯好きだから。I'm more into like delicate tasting cups, so. Speaking of which, out of one of the coffee bags that I ordered and that I already received is a decaf. It's a decaf that is probably the tastiest decaf I've ever tried. This is the only one that I didn't need to wait some time on resting. So I've been really enjoying that decaf. Maybe I'll show it later on stream, but yeah, no, it's been great. そうですね、頼んだコーヒーの中で、結構美味しい。We're gonna be stirring the coffee once more. 改めてコーヒーを攪拌して、スイッチを開けます。There you go. Now we open the switch. It drains super fast. 早く流せるよ。Oh, that's my grinder, but that's okay. 大丈夫だ。Nothing happened. I was just putting the spoon away. そうね、デカフェ頼んだから、最近あれを飲んで、本当に今まで一番美味しいデカフェだ。後で紹介するから。We're okay. And we're done. じゃあ、完成しました。I'm gonna close the switch and then put the dripper away. じゃあ、スイッチを閉じて、片付けします。It smells really nice. いい匂いだ。本当にいい匂いだ。Got scared the coffee spilled? No. I was just putting the spoon away and it actually accidentally hit the grinder, but it didn't spoil anything because it's kind of like a very sturdy grinder. If it falls, it makes big noise, but it's fine. そうだ、大丈夫だ。何もこぼしてなかった。Alright. We can stop the stopwatch here. And we're gonna give it a try. Let's see the smell first, though. まずが匂いはどうか。I don't really smell a lot. あんまり compared to the grinds なんかコーヒーのコーナーと比べたらそんなに強くないけど Also, this is kind of like an older bean. This was roasted on June 24th. So time-wise, I don't think there's gonna be a problem. I think this is still like in a good period to drink, but just to let you know. そうですね、この豆が、6月24日に焙煎されましたけど、まあ、これはまだ結構美味しく飲めるの時間ですね。For ultra lights, waiting 2 months and 3 months is completely fine, so no worries. なんかウルトラライトならなんか2ヶ月ぐらいはまだ大丈夫だからね。Alright, we're gonna pour the coffee. じゃあコーヒー注ぎます。And how about we give it a try? じゃあ味わってみましょう。I am, for anyone that has misophonia or is sensitive to slurping noises, in order for me to be able to try and taste these notes, I'm going to be slightly slurping at the beginning. So if you're weak to that, if you're not comfortable with that, please, you have been warned. You have been warned, so take care, okay? Don't push yourself. そうですね、ちゃんと味わうために、最初、ちょっと少しだけうるさくすすりますから、みんな無理しないでね。あれを嫌なら。Alright. Let's give it a try. Provecho. Gracias. いただきます。Oh, well, now that if I swirl the coffee, the aromas are coming out. Way more. Very, very. なんか、コーヒーをぐるぐるしてちょっとなんか香りが出せるみたいな感じやるよね。結構なんかベリーな匂い。Alright. いただきます。Gracias. Oh wow. That is very interesting. I have not tasted this bean like this before. この豆は結構いっぱい飲んだことあるけど、こんな感じは全然違うよ。Wait a second. Interesting. Okay, there you go. My mic has gone back to normal. Micは普通に戻りましたね。So, as for the main difference that I perceive here, the coffee is, as expected, less acidic than what I normally would brew. It's, but it's slightly juicier, I feel. There's a little bit more body. And the sweetness is also increased a bit. However, I feel like I do miss a little bit of the florality. Like the rosemary, I feel it's not as present, but the berries are a little bit more present this time. I feel like back when I used to brew it on like the UFO or the origami, I brewed this mostly on the origami because I didn't even have the UFO back then. It was very floral. Very focused on like the rosemary, and then I feel like you could get a little bit of the fruit afterwards. You would get like a bitterness, the florality, and then the berries. But I feel like in this one, the florality and the bitterness take a little bit of a step back, maybe because we're brewing really coarse. And right now, the sweetness, like the sweet berry kind, more like not like a tart berry, but more like a sweet berry, is takes the protagonism here, which is very interesting. いや、そうそうね、多分だって前入れた時にこの豆ね、なんか UFO とか折り紙でとか、多分メインはローズマリーのフローラルな感じですね。なんか最初なんか苦味があって、後でローズマリーみたいなフローラル、そして後で少しだけなんかベリーの甘さがあったけど、なんかちょっと酸っぱいな甘さですね。でも今回はなんかローズマリーと苦味がちょっと後ろに行って、メインがベリーの甘さですね。Depending on your taste, you can brew it differently to highlight certain notes. Yeah, for sure. There's different ways of brewing, and there's different tools of brewing that allow you to bring out more acidity, or if you want more punchiness, more balance, if you want more of like a tea-like cup, if you want more sweetness. And that is all stuff you can control while brewing. そうですね。だから、コーヒーを入れるときに、なんか、方法によって、目立つの味わいが違うよね。甘さとか、苦味とか、酸味とか、そしてボディが、なんか、お茶みたいに、クリーン、そしてなんか結構ボディが、すごくてクリーミーな感じも。Something that you can adjust for this recipe, which would be really easy, is that if you want a little bit of a thicker body or more bitterness as well, you can leave it on for like 5 or 6 minutes instead of 4. Or if you want something way lighter, then you can do 3 minutes instead, and maybe grind a little bit finer. That would be one way you can adjust this recipe to adjust the taste. But I think these 4 minutes are pretty balanced. Personally, I think for these beans, I would probably... I mean, in general, I would probably prefer my usual method, which is just drip. But I think if I were to like serve someone coffee, this would probably be a safer way of brewing. I think this would be a cup that more people are likely to like. And it's very repeatable, right? So I think this could be a really safe option. Also, in the end, cupping coffee is a way for you to taste like the nuances and the notes of the coffee and be able to review them to evaluate them. Maybe if you really want to avoid any variables, I really want to try these beans, but I don't want to, I am scared that my technique will ruin them, right? Then maybe a recipe like this could be useful so that you know that you're not basically interfering with the process. You're basically just tasting the beans soaked in water, right? And you're getting like maybe a very balanced, maybe you're not getting the most out of it, but you're getting a pretty good baseline of what the beans should taste like. So I think this could be also a pretty solid method for reviewing without having to do an actual cupping, you know. そして多分このレシピのなんかの強さが多分新しい豆買ったらでもちょっと自分の注ぎ方とか自信ないけど美味しく入れるかなってあの時は多分じゃあまずこのレシピで入れたら自分の方法は全然関係なくて自分の注ぎ方ね全然関係なくて多分ちゃんとこの豆のベースラインをちゃんと味わえるから便利かもしれないよね。そして個人的に多分僕の方が好きだけどね。なんか普通のドリップコーヒー。全然チンシじゃなくて10日のプロセスだけど。多分他の人ならこの一杯の方がセーフかな。誰かに味わってみてとか。A good recipe for your 50th coffee Zatsu. This is already the 50th coffee Zatsu. Wow. 50 coffees. One channel. もう、これは、50回のコーヒーサツなのあっという間ですね。すごいよ。Thank you everyone for your support and for allowing me to drink so much coffee on stream. I love coffee, so it's always nice to introduce it to everyone and everyone like being so interested, you know. Appreciate it. いつもコーヒーサツを応援してくださって配信に来てくださってありがとうございますね。だってこんなに50回配信でコーヒーを入れて飲めるのがまあ楽しいから、そしてみんないろんな質問して質問聞いてなんかドリミンからリーサナさんからそのなんか興味があるの感じがまあ嬉しいですね。But yeah, no, very appreciate the interest. I think there's been a few listeners, a few Doremi that have also mentioned that because of my streams, they have been able to enjoy black coffee more or have gotten into coffee. So that's always like, it's nice, you know, someone that likes coffee, that influence. So that's cool. Kyushu 100 next. Yeah, we're definitely going for 100. まあ絶対に100回に目指すよう。そうだね、やっぱりなんか、フリオの影響でブラックコーヒーを飲めるようになったって、あのメッセージが、あれを知られて、まあ、やっぱり嬉しいですね。まあ、コーヒー好きだから、ブラックコーヒーですね。So, first time here, what are your favorite types of beans to brew? I like light roast beans with an emphasis on floral and fruity notes. Those are my favorite. スプチャットありがとうございます。そうですね、一番好きな豆は多分、浅入りそして、浅入りのフルーティーとフローラルメインな味わい。コーヒー豆だ。I tell you guys, I'm really excited about the coffee beans that I brewed, that I ordered. There's a lot coming in. And I ordered a lot because usually once you order beans, I've been there's something that I've been doing on coffee satsus that is like, okay, I order 2 at a time, but then I receive them and I start brewing them before they're properly rested. So I feel like there's many times where like I introduce them on the stream and then a few weeks pass and I'm like, wait, this is way tastier than when I tried it on the stream because as expected, the resting period actually happened, you know? So I thought maybe it's better if I order the coffee beforehand and then let it rest. That way, I can have a little bit more of a... selection to showcase on stream by then. そうですね、まあやっぱり最近なんか、まあ今までコーヒーサツなんか新しい豆を注文するときに、まあ届いたらまだ3ヶ月、4ヶ月をちゃんと待ってなくて、配信で紹介するけど、後で自分の時に、なんか暇の時に入れて、なんか3ヶ月後で、やっぱり、配信で入れた時より美味しいよね。ちゃんと待って方がいいかな。だから、今回は、8個頼んで、とりあえず、待ちます。ちゃんと時間経った後で配信で紹介できるから。Do you have the same flavor taste for drinks that aren't coffee? No, not necessarily. If I'm drinking hot chocolate, I don't want the hot chocolate to be floral and fruity, you know? I want the hot chocolate to be sweet and slightly spiced, actually. 別の飲み物なんか同じ味は好きなの。まあ、やっぱり飲み物によるでしょ。だってホットココアならなんかフルーティーのホットココア飲みたくないよね。やっぱりホットココアならちょっとなんか甘くスパイスな感じあってあるの好き。By spice I mean like having like a little bit of of like cinnamon. Like a cinnamon vibe. But also if it's like slightly dark chocolate, then it's also pretty nice because there's like a little bitterness to it. ちょっとなんか苦味もあっていいよね。Thank you for super chat, by the way. Super chat ありがとうございます。And then what about tea? I like, oh my god, I think I like almost all kinds of teas. But my favorite teas are like peppermint. I like peppermint teas. Jasmine. It's also pretty nice. まあ、ティーならペーパーミント好きだよね。Oh, I love mugicha. Mugicha is really nice. Mugicha and ほうじ茶。麦茶とほうじ茶好きだよね。ティーなら。As for, I think someone asked what my most memorable coffees have been so far. These 50 years of coffee brewing, 50 streams of coffee brewing. I think maybe it would be something like this perhaps. I'm running it down, but I'll show you guys in a bit. I forgot what the black and white coffee was called. I'm gonna check my own coffee Zatsu to see what it was called. I have like 4 favorites, I think. まあ今まで一番好きなコーヒーならちょっと I had it on the anniversary coffee. That's what I do remember that. No, I don't remember if it was a Okay, yeah, it was a natural. Yeah, there you go. There you go. These are probably the four that I've liked the most so far. But I mean, I think most of the time, other than the Amazon Basics coffee that I tried, I've liked most of them. まあ、配信で入れた時の中で、まあ、全部多分 Amazon Basics 以外全部好きだったけど、これは多分一番気に入ったね。So my favorite coffee that I've had so far on stream has been the Say Coffee Washed. It was one that had kind of like a lemon, like a caramelized lemon slice flavor notes, which I really, really liked, especially after the resting time. I have a few coffees from Say Coffee that I am waiting to receive, so I'm very excited to try more from them, including. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember that I talked to you guys about the world's youngest coffee producer right now, Mr. Jose? So this week, Mr. Jose and his dad, Pepe, or Jose, they released a collaboration coffee with Say, and I ordered it, so I'm very interested in trying it out. I'm very excited for this one. It was probably one of the most expensive coffees I've ordered also though, so very looking forward to that one. そうですね、まあ、やっぱりなんか多分今まで一番好きなコーヒーは多分セイコーヒーのウォッシュとですね、結構なんかレモンスライスのなんかホニー含めてレモンスライスの味わいだった。そしてなんかこの前コーヒースタさんで話したことあったね、一番若いのコーヒープロデューサーの人、ホセさん が彼とお父さんと一緒になんかセイのコラボレーションコーヒーが出て、まあ僕が今頼んだけど、多分今まで一番高いコーヒーだった。でも入れるのを楽しみにしてるよ。Is it a geisha? I don't think it's a geisha. It's a... Wait, is it sold out? Oh. Wow, it's sold out already. すごい。もう売ってないんだ。もう売り切ったわ。I believe it is It's a mejorado. That's the kind of bean. It's a... これ、あれは、メホラドのコーヒーですね。Yeah, no, right now, both Pepe and Jose are very popular coffee producers from Ecuador. Probably one of the most popular ones in Ecuador right now. So their coffees, and they're both very active in the community, I believe, and social media and stuff. So they're very well respected, and their coffees are always very, very popular and looked forward to. そうですね、まあやっぱり売り切ったね。だって多分エクアドルの中でこの2人が結構有名ですね。結構なんかコーヒーのコミュニティで結構 SNS でいろいろ参加してるから尊敬されて、まあみんなが彼らのコーヒーを楽しみにしてるようなイメージがあるよね。But yeah, I'll make sure to try it on stream. まあ絶対に配信で入れてみるよね。I need to wait though. まあ待ちないといけないけど。So for the second coffee that I really liked, it was this one I tried recently. It was from Shoebox Coffee, also one of the pricier coffees that I tried, but it was super nice. The hojicha and the blueberry noted coffee was super nice, especially with the UFO dripper. It gave like a very nice tea-like, but also like it was not super fruity. It has like a nice roastiness to it. I don't know. It was very hard to describe. Very unique, and it's been very much one of my favorite cups so far. 2番がまあ結構最近で入れたねコーヒー雑談でほうじ茶味わいのシューボックスの和紙だった。これはケニアだったと思うね。I think it was Kenya or Ethiopia. But Kenya, Ethiopia or Burundi. It was a red bourbon, and it was just so good. いや本当に美味しかったわ。結構なんかほうじ茶とブルーベリーと混ぜて、ちょっとなんかフルーティーは過ぎなかったけど、すごく美味しかった。特に UFO ドリッパーと。The third is one of the older coffees that I've tried. Probably one of the... No, it was one of the first specialty coffees that I actually ordered. And I brewed it on the Hario Switch. So I think now... I do kind of want to revisit it because now I have developed my taste a little bit more. I do not like naturals as much as washed coffees. And also... I use like a hybrid switch recipe, but now I usually just do a full pour over. So I kind of would like to experiment it again. But yeah, no, I remember when I first tried the Savage Afterglow, I had a really positive reaction. The champagne and the strawberry notes were super nice. As someone that doesn't like strawberries, you know. Wait, what was it? Strawberry? There was a fruit in there. Savage Coffee Afterglow. Yeah, it was champagne, strawberry, and cream. It was a little bit more of a sweeter, of a thicker, creamier coffee, but it was super sweet, super nice. Very low in acidity. I think this is one that I can recommend for people that don't usually drink black coffee because super sweet without the acidity that's a little bit more divisive, you know. 3番目が多分サワシコフィーのアフターグローですね。これは多分僕の初の高級なんか頼んだ高級コーヒーですね。これは まあ、多分、今も僕の好みが結構進化したけど、あの時は本当に気に入ってたね。だって僕が普通に、ナチュラルよりウォッシュ好きだけど、このアフターグローのシャンパンとイチゴのクリーミーな味は本当に美味しかった。甘くて美味しかった。多分コーヒー初心者に、ブラックコーヒー初心者にこれはおすすめできる。だって好き嫌いの、なんか、酸味が好き嫌い人がいるよね。僕が好きだけど、あまり好きじゃない人もいるし、この豆があまり酸味が強くないから、おすすめできる。And then as for fourth, this is also another natural. This one's a little bit more recent in that I brewed with more of my normal methods, the black cherry natural. That one's also very nice. It had like a notes of red wine and cherry, which was super cool. I really enjoyed that one. I drank that on the anniversary coffee Zatsu. And I feel like with most recipes, it was really delicious. Especially drinking with a dessert, with something sweet to eat. This was very nice. そして最後は、ブラック&ホワイトのブラックチェリーナチュラルのコーヒーの豆ですね。あのコーヒーが結構なんかワインとチェリーの味わいがあって、本当に美味しかった。バランスが良くて美味しかった。なんか1周年記念のコーヒー屋さんで入れたね。So yeah, no, I'm very curious about what the top is gonna go for the next, maybe the next 50 coffee satsus, maybe by the 100 coffee satsu. I can maybe think of another top 4 and see how it goes. そうですね、なんか100回のコフィーサツで一番好きなコフィー豆はどうやって進化するかな。Over time, my main recipes have changed. My equipment has changed also. At least the equipment that I mostly use. So, yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really cool to see everyone's growth in the coffee journey, you know? やっぱりなんかコーヒーの旅を見守るのが楽しいよね。だってコーヒー豆じゃな、もう、活動を始めた時からいろんな高級コーヒーを結構味わえたし、そしてギアも増えたから、多分僕の自分の好みを今も結構分かってるけど、多分活動を始めた時にただコーヒー好きだったけど、まあまだまだそんなに分からなかったね。だからいい感じだ。Yeah, no, when I started my activities, you know, I mean, I've liked coffee. I've liked coffee for a very long time, but I didn't have a lot of experience with specialty coffee. It was just not something that was affordable for me. And, but since I started, thanks to everyone's support, I've been able to try a variety of specialty coffees, of all kinds of coffees. I've been able to increase my gear and try different gears. So now I am able to understand my taste a little bit more than before. So that's pretty nice. And I mean, I think it's probably going to keep evolving, so I'll continue being under your care for that as well. やっぱりこれは、みんなのおかげですね。みんなの応援のおかげで、いろんな豆といろんなギアを試してみたから、まあ、ありがとうございます、本当に。これからもよろしくお願いしますね。だから、これは終わりじゃないよね。自分の好みとギアとか、まだ進化するから。まだ進化可能性があるから。Did you plan to do coffee streams before debut, or was it an idea that was suggested? そちらとありがとうございます。That's a good question. I think, so I wanted to do, when I was preparing for debut, right, I was sure that I wanted to include satsus, but I always, I don't know, I feel like when it comes to talking in satsus, I feel like if I don't have a topic, it's easier for me to be like, okay, what do I yap about now? Sometimes topics do come up, but it's a little bit more spontaneous, right? And I really like coffee, so I thought it would be nice to just have a chill, more than like getting into super specialty coffee and brewing the coffee on stream and everything. The plan was to just make a cup of coffee and then just relax while drinking the coffee and chatting with everyone, right? But I remember that, I mean, before we debuted, right, we got to go to Japan, and then I thought it would be a nice idea to introduce the specialty coffee stores that I visited, and it made me a little bit more motivated to maybe go into the specialty side instead of just a general coffee drinking Satsudan. So that's why I thought, hey, maybe it would be cool to do it like a coffee brewing together kind of stream. I think a lot of people brew coffee while or brew tea as well whenever I do the coffee Zatsu. So I thought it would be a good idea to do, kind of like a coffee meeting, you know. And then over time, the way I do things kind of evolved. I started like deactivating the filters on my microphone, and I got a microphone that had the omnidirectional feature, so that it's a little bit easier to hear. So it's more of like an ASMR kind of experience now, right? So yeah, no, it was halfway intended, but not. I didn't really have such a clear image as I have right now back then. So it's kind of cool that it evolved this way, you know? On my free time, a lot of my free time is spent into watching coffee videos, researching coffee, and comparing opinions and stuff. So, like reading other people's opinions about certain coffee drippers, equipment, and stuff. So, it's always nice to share that with everyone as well. そうですね、デビュー前は、こんなにコフィー雑談するつもりだったのっての質問が聞いたけど、やっぱりなんか多分、最初は雑談したかったけど、雑話なら、まあ多分話題とか、そんなになんか上手くないと思うから、じゃあ、テーマがあって方がいいよね。そして僕が本当にコーヒー好きだから、じゃあ、チルいコーヒー飲んで雑談したらいいかなと思ったけど、こんなになんか高級コーヒーメイン、そして配信でコーヒー入れるのプロセスをそんなになんか企画してなかったね。ただ自然にこんな感じに進化しました。だって高級なんか暇な時に高級のコーヒーの動画を結構見るから、毎回一番好きな趣味のことを話すのが好きだ。Sorry, I'm pouring more of the coffee. ちょっとコーヒーを注いでるよね。The coffee has cooled down and it's still pretty tasty. It does not get like acidic at all, so that's nice. コーヒーも冷めたけど酸味が増えなかったからいい感じですね。Thank you for super chat. Thank you very much. That's nice. まあいい感じですね。This is super safe recipe. 本当にセーフなレシピだ。これ。I also appreciate how you save some topics to talk about during them. Yeah, I mean, usually the layout for the coffee Zatsans goes usually like the first hour is dedicated to the coffee and then anything goes, right? But if something happened, then it's easier for me to talk about that. Which, speaking of designated topics, right? And we can probably transition to this. What do you guys think of the summer festival? そうですね、時々なんか、まあ、僕のコーヒー雑談で、最初の1時間がコーヒーメインだけど、後で多分時々なんか話が変わるよね。そういう、さあ、というわけで、じゃあ多分、今回は、みんなが今年の二次沢夏祭りどう思った？ 諸君です。いらっしゃい、いらっしゃい。It was fun to watch? It was fun? 楽しかったの？Yeah, I feel like the different POVs make a difference. やっぱりなんかみんなの枠を見て面白いよね。Yeah, as for me, I mean, it's not something that I've hidden right. I really do not. Minecraft is just not a game for me. Minecraft's not a game for me, but the purpose of this festival is not to play Minecraft. The way I see it, you know. It's more of an opportunity to gather all these livers, and then all these other livers are the Une-san, right? The staff of this project. I think it was Ritsukin 先輩、渚トラウト先輩、一橋さん、セフィナ先輩、長尾先輩。They were all working really hard to make this an enjoyable event for every liver participating. So it was nice seeing their efforts put into it. Maybe if it's not something for me, but regardless, right? It's something that is very easy to enjoy even if you don't play Minecraft. And it was nice, you know, seeing everyone together and then being able to like greet someone, maybe thank them for their hard work. I think I was able to tell some people, right? Oh, that was a nice live. Because I feel like whenever I have free time, you know, there are I do watch what other livers put out in terms of music, especially music, right? I like music. I came here to do music, so I respect a lot of livers that do a lot of mostly music. So it was nice getting to tell a few livers also like, hey, you did a nice job with this. I like this, because I feel like, I don't know, whenever people compliment these things, it kind of motivates you to keep doing more, right? So I'm glad I had the opportunity to work on that, to be able to convey that as well. そして、僕がマインクラフトがあまり気に入らないってみんなは分かってるけど、これはマインクラフトプレイするイベントよりは、いろんなライバーを集まって、交流できるのイベントのイメージがあるから、やっぱりなんか参加したかったね。うねいさんが本当に頑張ったね。リツキン先輩、セフィナ先輩、渚トラウト先輩、長尾先輩、一橋さん。みんなが頑張ったから、そしてみんなが参加してるライバーの皆さんをちゃんとエンジョイするために頑張ってたから、努力を結構見てたね。簡単に見えた。そして、初めて会話できるのライバーさんがいて、あれも楽しかったね。僕が普通に、暇の時に、ライバーの特になんか音楽活動聴くのが好きだから、時々なんか、ね、これは良かったね。これは好きだった。これは気に入ったって。やっぱり、僕なら、あれを言われたら、続ける音楽活動を続けるのモチベーションが上がるから、いや、僕も同じを伝えたいよね。だから、機会があった時に、これは良かったねって伝えたかった。Your POV had relatively nice audio balancing to hear people talking to. Thank you. I'm glad you thought so. I ran everyone through a compressor so that it would be a little bit more balanced. 僕のワークがオーディオバランスが良かったので、僕がコンプレッサーがなんかみんなのオーディオコンプレッサーつけたから良かったね。When ByteBeat got separated but also reunited several times. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I was so hung up on like reuniting with ByteBeat, right, is because we had limited time and the plan was for us to go through things together. So I felt like it's very common, like for any games that we play together, I will go by myself and then get lost or separated, and then I would be a little bit more chill about it. But I don't know. I thought it's been a while since we did stuff together and we planned on going through together. So I thought maybe in order to avoid regrets, right, it would be good to reunite as much as possible. But I feel like even the times where we got separated were really interesting. So I don't think it was something to worry about either. It does get overwhelming with so many people speaking at once. Yeah, that's unavoidable, right? But you can always go into a corner and then just hide for a second. そうだね、特になんかワイドフィット別れた時やったね。まあ、一緒になんか4人で巡るのつもりやったから、まあ、別れたら、じゃあ、早く、また再会したらいいよねと思ったけど、まあ、別れた時も楽しかったから。まあ、いいよね。I kept getting helped out by our kohais in Yata. I believe Eita-san was I believe me and Zeal asked him if he had seen the rest of By the Beat, and then I think the other half, Calyx and Sable, asked him if he had seen us also, so he was able to reunite us. And then there was the time also where I lost my ride, my Raul kind of disappeared, and then Mr. Rayon was able to help me out with the Ender Pearl. So yeah, no, very nice kids, the people at Yatta. 本当になんか優しい子ですね、Yattaの皆さん。いろいろ手伝ってもらったから、なんか迷った時に、そしてラウールが失った時に、レイヨンさんがエンダペロを渡して、なんかタスの方法を教えてもらったね。It was really embarrassing because I mean, I don't play Minecraft, right? So I need to figure out what right click and left click did sometimes. And I accidentally would hit people or like burn things or like destroy the environment by accident because I wanted to use an item. That was very embarrassing, but it's fine. I think everyone understands. あれは、まあやっぱりなんか、マインクラフトがあまりやらないから、時々なんか間違って、ヒットに殴って、何か燃やして、あれは、申し訳ないと思ったけど、まあ、みんな優しいから、多分、許されてたね。まあ、恥ずかしいけど。But it is what it is. And yeah, I did uninstall right after. そしてなんかまっすぐ消したよね、マインクラフト。I joined because of the scale of this event, but afterwards I have no interest in playing again. そうだね、だってこれはなんか大事のイベントだけど、その他はあまり興味ないから消したよね。Next year? Yeah, maybe next year, right? まあ多分来年ですね。約束できないけど。As always, I cannot promise anything because you don't know what can come up. But for now, at least, intentions-wise, right? Intentions-wise, I would like to participate again. まあやっぱりなんか約束できないけど、まあ、つもりなら、まあ、とりあえず来年参加するつもりあるよね。Lo dijiste a los 2 segundos de terminar. Sí, ya estaba buscándolo, ¿no? Yeah, no, something that, I mean, I've seen this before in other clips of the Natsumatsuri, but something that I think that I feel like in the end I am an introvert and I am a kind of a shy person, but I kind of try and go out of my way to like interact whenever I can, right? It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I mean, if I stay in my corner waiting for people to talk to me, waiting for people to invite to things, it's not gonna happen, right? Because everyone's so busy, everyone's in their own world, you know? So I kind of did go out of my way to like thank the people involved and maybe talk a little bit more, but something that I saw even in other not small cities, there's something I really respect of Ren Senpai. He's so sociable. I think I want to learn a little bit more from him. And be able to like more freely approach people, I guess. I was able to talk to a lot of new people this year, which it is something that I am satisfied about. But yeah, no, I think if anything, I want to be more approachable also. So I think I want to practice more Japanese as well and get better in that way. So I feel like whenever I actually get to talk to livers in Japanese, it gets a little bit worse than usual. My formal speaking and formal speaking gets messed up. But yeah, no, the objective is to continue being proactive. Now, そうですね。まあやっぱり僕が陰キャですね。陰キャとシャイの人だけど、僕はずっとなんか誰かを連絡するを待ってたら、まあやっぱり永遠に待ってるイメージがあるから、勇気出して、まあ勇気出してよりなんか自信持って。心配せずみんなともっと交流したから交流したいからなんか尊敬してるレンゼンバみたいにもっとなんていうのソーシャブルになるのを頑張りますね。まあ今回は結構新しい人と初めて会話できたけどこれからも日本語頑張っていろいろ機会作るのを頑張ります。だって特に日本語頑張ってね。だって配信なんか一人で喋るより多分会話するときになんか大和さんとか JP の大和さんとかまあ JP じゃなくて多分日本語上手い人とかセイブルとシュウ先輩とかマリア先輩とか日本語で喋ったら多分語彙力が 70% ぐらいになるからあれをもっと練習しないといけないね。But yeah, no, something that really happens, and it doesn't happen with just interacting with the livers at JP, right? Same with even the livers that are really good at Japanese and EN, like Seibo, Shu Senpai, Maria Senpai, Petra Senpai, Sony Senpai. I feel like whenever it gets to actually participate in a conversation instead of just one-sided talking one-sidedly on stream, I feel like my skills kind of lower to like around 70%. So I feel that's more of a practice thing, something I have to get used to. So it would be cool to practice more. Ma, 緊張よりまあ緊張の気持ちしてない気がするけどちょっとなんか舌が擦れるみたいな感じあるよね。I don't actually feel nervous when interacting though. More than nerves, it's just like I feel like I look It feels like my tongue kind of just loses a little bit of the dexterity, you know? Se le resetea el cassette. Exacto. Exacto, exacto. Emocionado. Ahora, no sé si es por emoción tampoco. Creo que es creo que es falta de práctica más que nada. Porque una cosa es hablar solo donde... pues básicamente tú controlas el flujo de la conversación, ¿no? Pero cuando ya te toca con otra persona, toca adaptarte a los flujos de las otras personas también, ¿no? Si no, se siente como que tú estás dominando la conversación. Pero al final de cuentas, cuando es un idioma que no dominas tanto, manejar ese flujo se vuelve un poco más difícil. But yeah, no, I think more than like getting too excited or getting too nervous, in the end, whenever you're speaking in any language, right, there's a flow to conversation. And whenever you're speaking in a language that you're not as familiar with, that flow is something a little bit harder to grasp. And up until now, I mean, I talk on stream, and then I basically when I'm talking on stream, I control the flow completely, right? But when it comes to talking with someone else, I have to adapt to their flow also. Otherwise, I overtake the conversation, and that's kind of rude. It's kind of rude, so something that you have to like be mindful about, but then when you don't dominate the language, it can get a little bit more difficult. So I think more than like nerves or more than getting too excited, it's something that I just need to be more experienced with and more practice. I think that's something that will get better with practice as I go along. So that's why it's important for me to try and participate wherever I can, right? You guys know me. You guys know I don't feel FOMO, but I participate in all these things, especially with Ian, right? Because I like it, and I like I think one of the strong points of NIJISANJI is doing all these things together. I value my individual activities a lot. I do. It's probably my most important thing, right? Because it's how I define my image that I want to brand myself as a liber. But still, I mean, we're all here, so if there's opportunity to do fun stuff together also, I do like to be supportive and participate as well. 今日そうですね、まあやっぱりもっと練習しないといけないね。だからこのイベント、この機会があって参加して方がいいよねってよく考えるよ。みんなは分かってるでしょ、僕のこと。僕はフォームを感じるの人じゃないでしょ。だからフォーモのせいで参加するより、ただ、まあ、特に23時好きだから、一緒にいろんな楽しいことをするのがいいことだと思うし、まあ、もちろん個人活動も多分、個人的に一番大事だけど、そうやって僕のイメージをみんなに、僕のライバルイメージを、なりたいライバルイメージを伝わるけど、まあ、なんかコラボと特にイエンと一緒にできる活動もとても大事だと思うから、参加できる機会があるときに、まあ正直参加したいよね。マインクラフト以外と。Of course, Minecraft is an exception though. I think Minecraft is fine for me to not participate with. Y'all know for there. マインクラフトならいいよと思うんですね。I think especially By the Beat knows this the best, but I am the kind of person that if I'm genuinely not interested, if I genuinely feel like it wouldn't be for me, then I won't join. I won't participate. Because then I feel like even if I'm there, there's no point, right? If I'm not enjoying myself or if I don't have the motivation for. So I feel like being honest to myself is something that I also value, you know. けどそうですね、まあバイトビデオが多分一番分かってるけど、僕が全然なんか興味なかったら僕が多分これは好きじゃないかもしれない可能性が高い時に僕が No って答えるの人ですね。自分が分かって、だって多分あれを好きじゃなかったら、気に入らなかったら、でもそれでもう参加したら、じゃあ多分雰囲気はちょっと変わるよね。参加するの意味ないと思うから、自分でなんか自分を分かるのも大事と思うね。だから参加するときには本当になんか正直で参加したい時で参加する。There's actually an indie game that I found recently. And the game is basically... Maybe I could play it on stream one day. It's not a horror game. But it's a game that basically you live in a world in an office where everyone says yes, except for the main character. So you kind of like... You have to say no in these situations. It's about like learning the importance of saying no. It seemed like a very interesting concept. I forgot the name about it though. But it's kind of like that influence and also teaching the other characters that saying no sometimes it's also good. Oh, さっきこの前ね、このインディゲームを見つけたね。名前忘れたけど、ね、結構なんかオフィス設定のゲームだけど、みんなが NPC はみんながYes しか言えないけど、主人公が No って言えるよね。あれは No って時々言うの大事なメッセージのゲームですね。Is it say no more? Is it? It is. It's that one. Yeah. It's the first NPG no playing game. Oh, you're right. Say no more のゲームだった。MPG, no playing game. Interesting. Yeah, maybe we can play it someday. まあ、いつか配信でプレイするかな。Of course, though, saying no is important also, but let's always remember, like, there's a balance to relationships. And I don't mean romantic relationships necessarily, just any relationship, any kind of interaction you do with people. It's kind of like a give and take thing, right? So that consideration of being able to figure out when to say yes, when to say no, even if sometimes you don't want to do something, maybe it's something that can help them out. Or even if it's something that can help them out, they need it, but maybe it's inconvenient for you. It's important to understand all these different situations and in your little head, put on a scale, right? What you need to prioritize, and that's gonna vary on each situation. So it's always important. Always important to keep in mind. You cannot just always say yes, always say no, and get away with things, right? けどやっぱりですね。まあ時々ノーっていうのが大事だけど、やっぱりなんか関係で、恋愛関係だけじゃなくて、全部の関係で、ちょっとなんか give and take、あげるともらうの関係だから、時々多分、これはしたくないけど、やっぱりなんか相手に助かるから、前この人が助かったから、じゃあ僕も手伝うよ。あれを考えるのが大事ですよね。そして、本当に毎回場合による。なんか自分の頭でなんかスケールがあるバランスがあって方がいいよね。時々 多分自分を優先するのが大事だけど、時々なんか相手はよく手伝ってもらってる、そして仲良いの友達とかを優先するのも大事ですね。でも場合による。あれをなんか自分で分かるようになるのが難しいけど、まあ大人の生活はこんな感じですね。It can be something really hard, especially when it comes to like understanding when to prioritize certain things, but in the end, that's the adult life, right? It's something that I would hope no one gives up on. Like consideration, you know? Consideration and self-appreciation as well. なんか慈愛となんか相手の配慮をみんなが諦めなかったら、まあ良かったですね。いや、大事だから。Las relaciones en general son pesadas de sostener, más cuando no sabes poner límites. Siento que no se deberían de sentir pesadas. Siento que sí, al principio se sienten pesadas. Claro, es un peso, la importancia es un peso, ¿no? De las relaciones, pero no se deberían de sentir como un peso encima. En primer lugar. You know, there is some way to like interacting and relating with people, but I feel like relationships shouldn't feel heavy though, or like a pain either. So I feel like if that feeling is there to begin with, then there's already a problem, you know? もちろんなんか関係の重さがあるよね。なんか価値が重いけど、関係がなんか重いな感じてたら多分あれは良くないかもしれないよね。関係が重い、なんか重く感じるはずないと思う。Yeah, it should feel comfortable, I think. Even in the uncomfortable moments, you know? It's not expected that you're gonna have comfortable moments with everyone all the time, even if you're close. But, it shouldn't feel heavy in a way. I think it's different. Uncomfortable, it's different than heavy. In my humble onion. This is just my opinion, though. まあ、僕の意見だけどね。それだけ。みんなが違うの価値観と世界観があるから。あれをリスペクトもしないといけないね。Everyone has different values and worldviews, so this is just my opinion. And I think it's also important to respect those as well. I finished my coffee. コーヒーを全部飲んだわ。Goodbye. Goodbye, sisterhood of Willa. さようなら。食にいらっしゃい。さようならだ。まあ、嘘だけど、まだ3グラム持ってるけど。3グラムでどうするか。I mean, it's not sayonara yet. It's not a goodbye forever yet because I still have 3 grams left. But what do I do with these 3 grams? Today we're gonna be making a 30 milli cup of coffee. Wow, that would be like a 1 to 10 ratio. There's actually a dripper though. The Kafik Flower? No, the Kafik Deep 27. The Cafec Deep 27 is a great dripper. I don't have it myself, but it's great for micro doses. If you ever want to try like new coffees, it's very good for like super expensive coffees that that you don't want to waste, because sometimes you only get like 50 to 100 grams, right? That dripper is good because then you can brew like 5 grams, 8 grams, and you're good. It's called the Cafec Deep 27. So that one's good for micro doses. そうね、時々なんか小さい、なんか少しあんまり残ってないコーヒー、あまりの、なんていうの、残ってるコーヒーが低い時に、このなんかカフェクディープ27ドリップを使えるよね。そうやって、多分なんか、結構高いコーヒーを買ったら、そんなに無駄にしないよね。You can mix different beans together by yourself. That's usually what I do with my remaining beans, but it's always a gotcha, you know? Is drinking too much coffee bad, though? Drinking too much of most things is bad. It's always about a balance, you know? Coffee drank black by itself is actually very beneficial to your health. There's a lot of antioxidants. It's good for memory-related diseases as well. But of course, it has caffeine in it, so if you drink too much of it, then it might not be good, and depending on your conditions, it can be beneficial, not too beneficial to drink coffee. So it's always something that's gonna depend on the person, but always excess is not good. So a balance is important. There's always decaf available though, and lately we have a lot of tasty decaf. We need it, so. ¿Para qué se usan dosis tan pequeñitas? Usualmente, o cuando solo te quedan esas, como 3 gramos, 5 gramos de café. O también cuando compras un café muy caro que solo te dieron 50 gramos, 100 gramos. Pues no lo quieres desperdiciar, ¿no? No lo quieres desperdiciar y todavía no sabes cómo lo quieres preparar. Así que probando con dosis pequeñitas, sacas más provecho, ¿no? Los latinos toman café a todas horas. Sí, no, bueno, pues. No estoy en la posición para decir nada. Thank you for super chat. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. すいませんでした。Sorry about that. It's the Minecraft allergy. すいませんでした。これはマインクラのアレルギーだったね。Salud. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Yeah, it's the Minecraft allergy. Allergy. Pareciste disco rayado ahí. So, ね、仕方ないよね。アレルギーがあるから。Yeah, because I have an allergy, I can't be helped, you know. I can't play Minecraft. Oh no. Just joke. 仕方ないよね。やれないんだ。 残念だな。Just like just like I have an allergy to Minecraft, I also have an allergy to not ending my streams without a segue, so I think I'm gonna be ending it around here. Thank you so much for joining me today. そしてなんかマインクラフトのアレルギーもあるけど、セグウェイなしで配信終わるのアレルギーもあるから、じゃあここで終了させていただきますね。配信に見てくださってありがとうございます。As for the next stream, I don't know if it's gonna be on Tuesday or Wednesday, but I wanna have my revenge on the dinosaur. So our next stream is gonna be Dino Blade. I am gonna be aiming for the final boss, which apparently I did some research and it's actually not the final boss of the game. So there's actually a few bosses that I'm missing, and I also missed a few bosses on the way, so we're gonna be fighting the bosses that we didn't get to fight last time. So that's what we're going to do. そうそうね、まあ、次の配信ですね。やっぱり復習したいからダイノブレイド続きますね。倒せなかったのボスを倒したいから。そしてさっきのボスがダースボスじゃなかったからあれをびっくりしました。だからじゃあ次の配信で恐竜ソウルそう頑張る。なんかスーパーありがとうございます。サルットブレスと同じ意味か。翻訳したらなんかサルッがなんか健康でいい要素の意味があるけど、bless you はちょっとなんか神様がなんか神様の祝いみたいなの意味があるよね。でもくしゃみの時にまあ言語によってサルット bless you って言うよね。英語圏のところが bless you って言うけど、スペイン語圏のところがサルって言うよね。ニュアンスが同じだけど言葉の意味が違うよね。Yeah, no, the meaning behind salud, it's basically you're wishing someone a good health. It's like, oh, be healthy. Like, may you be healthy, you know? But bless you means more like get blessed, you know? Because I think in different cultures, sneezing was kind of like had like this nuance of being like haunted or cursed or something, so it was a way of like blessing people, hoping that they're not possessed or something, right? So that's where it comes from English speaking countries, but I think in Spanish speaking countries it's more like I'm wishing you good health, you know? そうだね。だってなんていうの、昔まあいろんな文化でくしゃみしたらなんか幽霊とか何かがちょっとなんていうの、なんか清いなニュアンスがあったから、だから bless you って言ってたけど、まあやっぱり場所によってニュアンスがないから、まあ面白いよね、あの文化の違い。In Roman times, I believe your soul would fly out of you after a big sneeze. Oh no. A part of my soul flew out. Blessing someone can also be wishing them well, though, and that's why it's evolved into like the same nuance, right? At this point. People say bless you without like actually having the original intentions behind it.乾杯するときもサル。そうだよ。だって、時々なんか昔、バイキングの時みたいな感じ。乾杯した時に、なんかカップを、なんか、 なんかみんなのカップを混ぜて時々なんかカップの中の飲み物も時々混ぜてたからなんかみんなが健康でいますようにな意味もあったね。だからサルっていうよ。Yeah, no, we also use salud whenever we cheer, right? Whenever we cheer drinks, we mash the glasses, right? Like salud. And the reason for that, especially, I think it comes from like around the times where like people would drink in pubs. And whenever you would chug the drinks, like the glasses, right? The liquids would mix with each other sometimes because they were like mashing the cups together aggressively, you know, especially if it was like in an alcohol context. So you're basically saying salud, like good health, to wish your partner, your drinking partner, good health despite the liquids mixing in, you know. That's the explanation that I remember, but it might be different depending on the place. 場所によって説明が違うけど、これは育てたの説明だったね。I think nowadays people do not like mash together their cups so aggressively anymore. そんなにアグレッシブ的になんかカップをなんかコロコロしないよね。もしお酒の配信したらサルって言わないと多分合ってるよね。Yeah, no, if I ever did like an alcohol drinking stream, then salud would be appropriate in terms of nuance and meaning. Anyways, before we end, I'm gonna be reading the super chats and we can call it a day. But there you go. There's the cultural lesson, I guess, of the day. I guess for the Spanish word of the day, 今日のお久しぶりにスペイン語の講座をあげようかな。It's been a while since I teach you guys a word in Spanish, so how about we find a word to teach? So I believe I've already taught cup before. カップも教えたことあるよね。Oh, maybe we can doくしゃみ。We can do sneeze then. じゃあくしゃみしようか。There you go. There you go. I think you guys will probably remember this one. Estornudo. Sneeze. くしゃみ。Estornudo. That is whenever you make it a noun. If it's the verb to sneeze, then it's estornudar. Acabo de estornudar. I just sneezed. Or I sneezed in past. I sneezed. Estornudé. Ella estornudó. Él estornudó. It becomes a past tense if you add the accent at the end, right? そうですね。エストルヌドが名詞だけど、動詞なら、エストルヌダルよね。acabo de estornudar。さっきくしゃみした。彼女がくしゃみしてるよ。Ella está estornudando。彼がくしゃみした。Él estornudó。estornudo じゃなくて、estornudó。最後のエンファシス入ったら、過去になるよね。過去的な言葉になる。難しいなね。 So it would be noun estornudo. Verb estornudar. El pasado. Estornudo. Or if it's past, but it's talking about yourself, estornude. 自分の話なら estornude. Yo estornude. 僕がくしゃみした。Da penti. It sounds so nice in Japanese. Yeah, kushami. It sounds kind of cute in Japanese, right? 確かになんか日本語ならちょっと可愛く聞こえるよね。kushami. In English, it sounds like a little bit in between sneeze. But in Spanish, estornudo. It's a little bit different, right? スペイン語ならちょっと違うよね。estornudo. Anyways, now for real, I'm gonna be reading the super chats. じゃあ、今回、本当にスーパーチャットを読ませていただきます。ありがとうございました。Meaver, thanks so much for the super sticker. Thank you very much. ゆうかさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。はい、いってらっしゃいね。レモンクリームさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。はい、ありがとうございました。仕事行ってらっしゃい。夏尾さん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。よかったですね。ありがとうございます。あいびちゃん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。よかったですね。ありがとう、ありがとう。まるさん、2時3時スーパーチャットありがとうございます。コーヒー好きになりましたの？よかったね。ありがとうございます。マナム、thank you so much for super chat. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the coffee, Zatsu. Thank you very much. ニッポさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。いいよね。僕の影響で好きなレシピを見つけたら、まあよかったですね。ありがとうございます。Erin, thanks so much for super chat. Salamat po. I'm glad you're looking forward to the coffee, Satsu. Thank you. Tristian, thanks so much for super chat. Thank you very much. What coffee do you recommend for Doraemins with sensitive stomachs? Perhaps a lighter flavor. I think if you have sensitive stomachs and drinking black coffee is not that is a little bit hard for you, then I would recommend coffees low in acidity. Usually, acidity is what causes that little bit of unpleasant feeling in the stomach. I would recommend not drinking coffee in an empty stomach. That's bad for any person, even if you don't have a sensitive stomach. And also light roast. The more roast, the darker the roast, the more the acidity feels more like I feel like a battery acid kind of vibe, like a car motor kind of vibe. So I would recommend more lighter roasts. よその人ね、お腹が弱いの人におすすめのコーヒー豆がありますか？まあやっぱりなんか。酸味がそんなに強くないの浅入りコーヒーをおすすめできるよね。だって中入りと深入りならちょっとなんか酸味がもっとちょっと激しくなるから酸味がそんなに強くない浅入りをおすすめするよね。そしてなんか前何も食べずにコーヒーを飲むのが禁止だ。あれは良くない。あれは誰もに良くない。ひみちゃん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。はい、仕事頑張ってください。Lily Bang, thanks so much for super chat. Thank you very much. Likewise, thanks so much for your support. Very much appreciate it. 神瀬さん、スーパースティッカーありがとうございます。Thank you very much. Mega Chico, muchas gracias por el super chat. Muchas gracias. Otsu. Thank you, thank you. しおりさん、スポチャットありがとうございます。僕のジョークを気に入ってくださってありがとうございます。ペピさん、スポチャットありがとうございます。こうフィギュアとか、なんか自分でハンドリップを入れるようになってよかったですね。ありがとうございます。ドレニアン、thanks so much for super chat. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the coffee Zatsu. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, there will be more coffee Zatsu, more yaps from now on, so we'll continue being under your care. ネコテンさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。こちらこそありがとうございますね。ありがとうございます。Dim Seas, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. 謝謝に waiting for 100. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come by the time we realize that. Just 50 more weeks to go, so that's like tomorrow, basically. But yeah, no, thank you, thank you. スピーカーさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。Thank you very much. こちらこそありがとうございます。Hana Viv, thanks so much for the super chat. Congrats, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed the coffee Zatsu. Thank you, thank you. 銀さん、赤スーパーありがとうございます。本当にありがとうございますね。コーヒーを好きになってよかったですね。これからもコーヒーをエンジョイしてください。Warforge, thanks so much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Salamat po. I'm glad you're enjoying the coffee Zatsus also. Continue being under your care for the next ones. For the unforeseeable future. エリカさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。Thank you very much. Glad you were able to come by. Thank you. コーヒービーンさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。自己新と夏祭りを応援してくださってありがとうございますね。よかったです。頑張れないボイスも購入してくださってありがとうございます。すすさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。ブラックコーヒーを飲めるようになったのが嬉しいですね。よかったよかった。Yosh. Alright, I was able to read all the super chats, I think, so we're gonna be calling it a day here. I'll see you guys next time for maybe some dinosaur revenge. And yeah, I'll continue being under your care. じゃあ、ここで、スーパーチャット全部読めたので、ここで終了させていただきます。また配信で、また次の配信で、恐竜の復習になります。さきさん、スーパーチャットありがとうございます。よかったですね。ありがとうございます。Alright, see you guys. Nos vemos, chicos. またね。